Good morning, good morning. It is Monday and it is the beginning of the week. We had a fantastic weekend. It was Mother's Day. I did go live. I spent some time with the family. It was absolutely awesome. And it looks like everything was on go. It was pretty dope. Now, this upcoming weekend, I may not be able to stream. I'll probably be able to stream, but I won't be home. So it may be somewhere I'll be in a different place, but I will be more than likely trying to stream from the place I am. I'm going out of town, so we'll see how that goes. So just give you guys a heads up. Also, the live stream this weekend was pretty awesome. We talked some PS3, we played some PS3. It was really, really cool. I appreciate everybody who came through. Go check out the live. We played a bunch of games and it was really dope. And it was very, very entertaining, if I should say. It was pretty awesome. Now, let's get into the topic of today. We're going to talk some Nintendo. And Nintendo's not looking pretty hot as of late. Nintendo, you know how it was going with the pricing of their games. The console is not too bad, but the games itself and the key card situation and the digital download stuff and the pricing of the accessories went up, and it kind of got a little bit worse. But it's based on whatever perspective you want to look at this from, because I kind of look at it from both sides. Apparently, if you do anything to your Switch 2, you could get your console permabanned or actually bricked. They can disable your console from even working. So my thing is, I don't think that this is that big of a deal if you're not into modding or hacking your console. But it is a big deal if you are, because I mean, some people are going to do it. That's just how it is. People are going to hack and mod their consoles. They do it with every console they get. Now, my thing is, it's not the fact that they can do it. My thing is, should they do it? Now, in some instances, we can go all the way back to the Xbox 360, that they were consoles that was perma-banned, but not necessarily bricked if you modded your console and try to go online. And I think this is the route that Nintendo should go. This is where I say I see where they're coming from the online perspective. You don't want to be in a situation where you are messing it up for everybody if you got a hacked console and doing this, that, and the third online. But if you're in the home by yourself and you are just hacking your console and you're playing it to your own personal benefit, you're not online, it doesn't matter, whatever you know, it doesn't hurt anybody else, you should not be able to brick that console. Nintendo should not have the right to do that. Some people are saying that they should, and some people would defend Nintendo. That's kind of crazy. I don't understand that. I understand defending the company to an extent. If they make great games, you wanted to continue to make great games, and you have an opinion, that's cool. But just defend them on clearly, not necessarily, you know, just anti. Well, I guess you could say it's completely anti-consumer and it's anti-ownership, where this company should not have the right to do this. And this is where I come in, and I feel like this company should not have the right to do this to your console that you purchase. I mean, this is a console that you have, it's yours, and you should be able to do whatever you want with it. Now, at the same time, you should not be able to infringe on the rights of others. Like, say, if you took that console and go online with it, and you have an advantage, that ruins the experience for everybody. You should not do that. Now, as far as piracy goes, hey, look, you already know how things go with that. Personally, I don't understand for the life of me. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Why would you pirate brand new stuff from any company? Like the whole thing with the Switch 1, it was a situation where they were getting games new early, so that's piracy in itself. And then they were making patches for these games for their emulator so they can work on the said emulator. I don't understand, like, why would you pirate something that's new? Now, can you wait till after the generation's over? Can you wait till, like, things kind of die down? Kind of like how they did with Nintendo Dolphin. You know, the Dolphin Nintendo Dolphin, the Dolphin emulator. Well, basically the Dolphin emulator was created around the time of the Wii, but it really didn't get prominent till a little bit later. You know, they weren't trying to, or like, say, for instance, the other emulators that are out there. You know, these companies aren't really going to go after you. Even Nintendo, believe it or not, They're not going to go after you if you do this late in the console's life generation or once the console life generation is over. If you're doing something, they may do a cease and desist. And I know Nintendo is fairly aggressive, but for the most part, if you're not blatant with it, they're not going to go after you if you do it later on in the life cycle. But if you're trying to emulate or if you're trying to pirate current consoles or current console games or current generation games, I mean, you're kind of asking for it because you're really messing with the money. So I'm not a big proponent of that. Now, later on in the life cycle, like I said, you're good to go, whatever. It's up to you. But another thing that I have an issue with is, what if you get a false positive with this company trying to brick your console because they feel like it's unauthorized? You can get a false positive in some cases, and what can you do? You know, maybe your console doesn't have any modifications and they decide to ban it anyway. You know, I mean, that happens. I know some people who get banned from, Xbox Live for, some unknown reason. They didn't do anything wrong. Or PSN. Or some people got their Steam accounts, banned for no reason. I mean, it happens. So what happens if your Nintendo Switch 2 gets permanently bricked by Nintendo for no reason, or something that you didn't do? You're actually innocent. This is another reason why I think Nintendo should not have the right to do this. This is like you're really messing with anti-consumer practices. If you buy a product, it's yours. Now, another thing, we can talk about the end user license agreement, this EULA that we all sign all the time. Now, this EULA is absolutely ridiculous. Not just Nintendo's, but any of them. Because it's not necessarily a contract. It's a list of demands that you have to agree to, or you will not be able to play said game, even after you purchased it. That's ridiculous. So, this is a thing that probably need to go to court and probably needs to be resolved, because the EULA is kind of like, it's kind of, I would say in some cases probably illegal. You can't make anybody, perpetuate or capitulate to your demands because of a game or anything, especially after you paid for a service. So I don't understand that. Now, the last thing I would say is this class action lawsuit thing that Nintendo is trying to get themselves out of. I don't think that's legal either. They have a situation where I think this is a part of EULA, where they're saying that you are giving up your right for a class action lawsuit. I don't think that's legal, because isn't that like a form of, I don't even say intimidation, but isn't some type of coercion so you don't have to sue? I mean, isn't that like illegal or something? I don't know. I mean, I'm not a law scholar, but something about that doesn't sound right. You can't make somebody sign into an agreement where you can't sue or whatever the case. I think it's like, I don't know. To me, that just sounds weird, because like it's kind of like of a scare tactic, not for you to go to court. And then at the same time, they can do damn near anything they want to, and whatever this agreement you sign will immune Nintendo from for going to court. I don't know, but there's a lot of Nintendo fans out there. A lot of people love Nintendo and they will defend this stuff. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It's actually kind of sickening that people who defend this type of stuff to this extent. At some point, we got to sit back and say, all right, this is not cool. Some stuff I can get with, but some of this stuff, this ain't cool. Somebody may be a Nintendo diehard to the bone, but I don't know anybody who's going to really defend saying that it's okay for them to break your console just because you hacked it or whatever. I don't see where that's a go for me. I think that's a no-go. But nevertheless, I'm not buying a Nintendo Switch 2 for myself. I'm buying it for my son, and I doubted that he would try to hack, and he's definitely not pirating any games. And I wouldn't know what to do with myself if his console ended up being permanently bricked and he did nothing wrong. Because when you give Nintendo the right to do this type of stuff, false positives could happen. And I know if that happens to him, then I know he'll be devastated, and Yeah, that'd be probably like the last bit of Nintendo products I will buy, you know, necessarily legitimately anyway. I'll probably end up buying it secondhand, where Nintendo don't get my money, and they can forget about me using the online services anymore if that ever was to happen. You know, that just is ridiculous. But nevertheless, I'm gonna get up out of here. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this whole Nintendo thing. Shout out to everybody who came through the live stream. Shout out to everybody who watched this video. Like, share, subscribe. And I will be going live again this weekend. And I may go live a little bit earlier this week as well, because of the fact that I'll be going out of town. But I'll keep you guys posted. And on top of that, I also need to go live more often, because the energy in the live was pretty cool. It was pretty awesome. All right, y'all, I'm gonna get out of here. Y'all take it easy. Y'all be blessed. I'm out. Peace.